All right. Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. You guys know how we do things around here. You bring us the intriguing stuff, and we unpack it together.
That's right. Always happy to dig into something new.
So, today we're looking at something pretty aspirational.
Yeah.
Your notes this time around are all about success habits,
Mhm.
but not just any success habits, billionaire habits.
Yeah, those are some pretty high achievers, aren't they?
They are. And listen, before anyone rolls their eyes, let's be real. We're not saying following these habits will magically transform anyone into a billionaire, but, come on.
Right.
It's fascinating to see how these folks who've, reached these incredible heights approach their lives. There's bound to be some wisdom we can all glean.
Absolutely. Whether you're an entrepreneur, an artist, or just someone looking to level up your life, there's always something to learn from those who've achieved extraordinary things.
100%. So
Yeah.
let's dive into these billionaire habits, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay. So one of the first things that jumped out at me from your notes was this whole early rising thing. It seems like, I don't know, almost every successful person swears by it. Are they onto something? Or is it just a quirk?
I think it's more than just a quirk. There's actually some really interesting research out there about this.
Oh, like what?
Well, studies from UC Berkeley have shown that our prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that's responsible for decision-making, planning, all that good stuff, it's actually most active in the first few hours after we wake up.
So it's like that's when our brains are at their prime.
Exactly. And it makes sense when you think about it. Billionaires are all about maximizing their time. So getting a head start on the day while everyone else is hitting snooze, it gives them a huge advantage. It allows them to tap into that peak mental state and tackle their most challenging tasks before the distractions of the day set in.
I never thought about it like that, but it's so true. I mean, think about how much more you could accomplish if you had, an extra hour or two of focused time every morning.
Right.
And speaking of maximizing time, that actually ties into the next habit on our list. Master your time. It seems pretty straightforward. But how do these billionaires actually do it? Are we talking, color-coded calendars and minute-by-minute schedules? Or is there a deeper philosophy at play?
Well, a lot of them do have pretty structured schedules. But it's not just about sticking to a rigid timetable. It's more about understanding the value of time and using it strategically. One framework that many billionaires use is the Eisenhower matrix.
The what now?
The Eisenhower matrix. It helps you categorize tasks based on urgency and importance. So, things that are both urgent and important get tackled first. Things that are important but not urgent can be scheduled. And things that are neither urgent nor important, well, they get eliminated or delegated.
I love that. It's like having a filter for your to-do list. Helps you focus on what actually moves the needle. I mean, I think we've all felt that overwhelm of having a million things on our plate. But if we can learn to prioritize effectively, like these billionaires, we can free up so much mental space and energy. Okay. Now, along with mastering time, you also highlighted the importance of saying no, which, let's be honest, can be tough.
It's definitely a skill that takes practice.
Right, because it feels counterintuitive. When you're trying to achieve something big, you want to say yes to every opportunity.
Right.
But I guess billionaires have a different perspective. So how do they approach saying no?
Well, it's not about becoming a no machine. It's more about understanding that every yes to something means saying no to something else.
That's a good way to put it.
So they're very intentional about where they invest their time and energy. They ask themselves, does this align with my goals? Will this help me get where I want to be? And if the answer is no, they're not afraid to politely decline.
I like that. Strategic decision-making. So it's about aligning your actions with your goals, which actually reminds me of the next habit on the list. Invest in learning, which honestly, I don't think is much of a surprise. These folks are constantly reading, attending conferences. They're like sponges for knowledge.
It's true. And I think it speaks to the power of a growth mindset.
Right. Never stop learning.
Exactly. It's that understanding that we can always learn and adapt and improve no matter what stage of life we're in. Billionaires really embody this. They're lifelong students, constantly curious, always seeking to expand their knowledge base.
It's like their success fuels their learning, and their learning fuels their success. It's this amazing cycle.
Precisely.
It's pretty inspiring, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, all this talk about learning, I'm curious, what's an area you're currently exploring? Something that's really grabbing your attention?
Let's see. I've been really into behavioral economics lately. It's fascinating to see how psychological factors can influence our decision-making, especially when it comes to, business and finance.
That's so interesting. See, always learning. All right, so we've talked about mastering your time, saying no, and investing in learning, but it's not enough to just, have the knowledge right. You've got to put it into action.
Mm.
And that brings us to the next two habits. Stay consistent and take action daily. It's all about taking those consistent steps, even if they're small, to get where you want to be.
It's so true. There's that great analogy of training for a marathon. You don't just wake up one day and run 26 miles. It takes consistent daily effort, even if it's just a few miles at a time.
That's a great way to put it. Small, consistent actions done over time lead to big results.
Yeah.
And you know what? This actually reminds me of another habit you mentioned,
Yeah.
which I think is so crucial. Delay gratification.
Ah, yes. The ability to resist those short-term temptations in pursuit of long-term goals. It's a hallmark of many successful people.
And billionaires seem to be masters of it. They're playing the long game. They're not looking for quick wins or instant satisfaction. They're focused on building something that lasts.
Exactly. They understand that real success takes time and patience and a willingness to make sacrifices along the way.
Right. Which leads perfectly into the final billionaire habit on our list. And I think this one's huge. Surround yourself with winners.
It's all about the company you keep.
Mhm.
The people you spend time with have a profound impact on your mindset, your beliefs, your choices.
It's true. I mean, we've all experienced that, right? When you're around positive, ambitious people, you can't help but feel motivated and inspired.
Absolutely. It creates a kind of positive feedback loop that pushes you to reach your full potential.
It's like building your own personal dream team. So there you have it. While we may not all be destined for billionaire status, and hey, that's totally fine,
Right.
these habits offer incredible insights into achieving success in any area of life.
The key is to take these principles and adapt them to your own unique goals and circumstances. What works for one person may not work for another. It's all about finding what resonates with you and what helps you move forward.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you all with a thought. If you could adopt just one of these billionaire habits, which would it be? And what's one small step you can take today to make it happen?
Hmm. It's something to think about, isn't it?
It is. Keep diving deep, everybody. And as always, thanks for joining us.
See you next time.